Follow the Path. The Bears Grove is adult-level discussion of role-playing as a storytelling art at samchuppmedia.com. Hello and welcome to another Bears Grove podcast. My name is Sam Chupp. You're a podcaster. I hope you're doing well. Today on the program, we're going to talk a little bit about the OGL furor that's going on. The OGL stands for Open Gaming License. If you've never heard of it before, that's not entirely surprising, especially since in recent years, the whole industry has kind of shifted away from the open content and moved towards everybody playing the same modules that you get off of, you know, D&D Beyond, or that you purchase from Wizards of the Coast, and it seems like a lot of people are playing those because, and then they go ahead and they just label everything else quote-unquote homebrew, okay? But just in case you were wondering, there are a lot of companies out there that produce content for D&D 5th edition that are not Wizards of the Coast. And they have a loyal following of their own. And so that's an important thing for you to know. Okay? Then we had a situation where D&D Beyond got bought by Wizards of the Coast. Boom. Now they are the official VTT support, digital support for D&D 5th edition. Okay. Just recently there was a leaked document talking about the plans for the next generation of the Open Gaming License. Now, just briefly, I'm going to go into what that is. So, the Open Gaming License was what originally allowed random folks, just you and me, people who are interested in putting out a book, to do so. You could take the system reference document for D&D, and you could create gaming content that you then sold and license it under the Open Gaming License, and it would be okay. And it would mean that your ideas would be your ideas still, and the intellectual property that was Wizards of the Coast, but, you know, included in the system reference document, was okay to do so. It was okay to say cast Magic Missile in a dungeon that you create, a module that you create, because Magic Missile, the spell, is listed in the OGL's system reference document. Okay. So a lot of people made content with this license. And it became kind of a universal practice in the gaming industry, because what it does is it opens up a content generation engine so that you don't have to sit around and wait for the next D&D module to come out. You can literally use all these other modules, or, you know, books of species, or books of magic items, of books, or books of extra classes, and so on. You can use those as your own. Okay? And it created a very healthy ecosystem of gaming material. But now this leaked document seems to say that they're going to essentially do away with OGL. That they're going to change all of their possible, a whole bunch of different possible parameters and make it different. They're looking at the amount of money other people make off of the OGL, and they want some of that money. Well, I'm here to tell you folks that that money is really not very much in the overall scheme of things. It's certainly not enough to truly go after a bunch of little folks who don't make anywhere near what Wizards of the Coast makes or what Hasbro makes. It's just not enough money to really care about overall. And Wizards of the Coast can't use the excuse, oh, well, we have to protect our copyright, because the copyright is protected in the OGL. It's already protected. Everything that they need to copyright has been protected. Elminster, all those people, all those bits of lore, they're all protected. Okay? Now, this has caused a lot of people to freak the heck out, and I totally understand. But there's a couple of key truths that you need to take with you. And that is, number one, we don't really know what's going to be on the final document. And we don't really know how they're going to implement it and how they're going to enforce it. And that's considerable. There's a lot of considerable questions that people still have about what's going to happen. There are yes, it's true. There are entire companies out there, publishing companies out there, who depend on the OGL for their very existence. Okay? And those people are worried. And I can understand why. It's a worrisome situation for them. It's also worrisome for us in a certain sense, because us, the gaming public, because we don't know what follow-on effects this is going to have. And we've been enjoying this robust ecosystem of content in the world because of the OGL all this time, ever since it came out circa D&D 3.0. Okay, D&D 3.0, 3.5, it came out around that time. And so, you know, that was what created the wellspring of possible gamers that we're looking at today. Okay? Everybody says Critical Role did it. Well, Critical Role wouldn't have done it if it hadn't been for the OGL. So, that's important to get across. But in the end, does it really affect the users who are the gamers who are basically just regular folks? Well, maybe not. Maybe it doesn't affect those people. But it is an example of a corporation trying to take advantage of the goodwill that was already extended to them as a result of having such a thing as the OGL. Okay? And so I have to tell them, look, you are going to be, you know, it's my hope, to be honest, that what this does is it inspires people to look at other games. Okay? It inspires people to not necessarily make D&D your default game. Look at what's been going on, make the choice yourself, talk to your players, and see if they would be interested in playing something different for a while. Because that will be fair. Okay, that's going to be a much better response than being absolutely over the top about what WotC does. Just decide to play something different for a while. I'll tell you that if D&D takes a hit from people not playing the game because they're not happy with how they've been treating people, then I can pretty much assure you that Wizards of the Coast will pay attention to that, and they will not go forward with their plans. That's my hope, at least. But as I said before, we don't know quite yet what's going to happen, so let's take a break. Let's look and see. And let's keep in mind that there are already games out there that exist that have already said you can take this and run with it if you want. They've put out their own version of the OGL. They've put out open source style things. They've put out Creative Commons licensed things. And, you know, the truth is most of this stuff is not important to you if you're not a publisher or a writer. If you're not like me, who has his own, you know, game publishing, and I want to put out, if I want to put out something that's D&D 5e compatible, I would have to be concerned about this. Luckily, all of the books I've put out so far have depended on a systemless source book, which means that I don't have to worry about it. You know, none of that stuff is about any system, specific system. But not everybody's that way, and I hope that folks will pay attention. Remember that whether or not this is a game, it's also a business. And Wizards of the Coast wants to make money for their shareholders. That's what a corporation does. So just keep in mind all that. Take a break, chill, try to learn other games, play other games. I've been playing a few games on Start Playing Games. I'm running a couple of games there. The nice part about that is that I get to be a fill-in for other people's games. And that means I don't have to pay to play. I can get in there, sit down, and help make the game fun. So that's what I do. And I really enjoy that, actually. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm finding to be very, very useful, very beneficial. Anyway, so I hope that you have a good week this week. I'm getting to go see Hadestown this week. I'm looking forward to that, and I might have, you know, a description of it from a gaming point of view at some point. But I wish you all very well, and when you sleep, when you get some sleep, I hope you have sweet dreams when you get them. Until soon, bye-bye.